Wow. That is a fish of a lifetime. Go, boy. Wow, that thing is a monster.
They fight hard, don't they?
Look at that magnificent fish.
Look at the size of that fish.
There he is again.
The color is incredible. Oh, there we go.
The Real Fishing Show with Bob Azumi.
Big old Great Lakes smallmouth. That is a big rainbow trout, Chris. Nice double-header.
Whoa.
Nice jump.
Yeah. All right. That is a monster smallmouth. Man, that is so cool. Another one, there we go. The biggest pike I've ever caught. Look at that chunk. So that's what we're talking about.
Real Fishing is sponsored by Mercury, Go Boldly, Berkeley, Catch More Fish, and Abu Garcia for life.
On the Real Fishing Show, we make catching fish like this a possibility. There we go. Just a wee fella. Wee fella, little largemouth.
Nice work, Bob.
That's not that's the target species, but not the target size right there.
We'll keep
That
improving
is
it.
what you call a short, fat largemouth, similar to the fella that caught it right there. See what I'm talking about? Belly, you know, pretty much, pretty much.
Nice fish, Bob.
Yeah, but we're after his granny and grandpa.
Yeah.
Hit,
Yeah, I missed him.
flying lures. Get in there again. If it didn't feel metal, it'll probably hit again. So this is where power poles really come into effect. And glasses, okay? Glasses for flying lures.
Yep.
And then I'll put the power poles down here to lock us. Let the wind swing us around just a little bit, and you got a perfect placement. So we're locked down with the shallow water anchors. So one hit you, huh?
Yeah.
It's kind of a catch-22 on this flipping and pitching these little weed mats, because you want to use a heavy enough bullet sinker to get through the weeds, but you don't want to use too heavy where it falls just like a rock through there. So
Right.
in a lot of cases, what we'll do is, you know, we'll pitch it up in the air a little bit and give it a little flick so that bullet weight goes through the weeds. It's kind of like, get in there, get one. Well, I have to admit, flipping for largemouth is not quite like going 50 feet in the air and landing on your feet. But let's talk about that, Travis. You know, you are a Canadian freestyle skier. You've competed all over the world. Give me your 3 highlights of your career. What would they be?
Throughout my career, I think I'd have to highlight 7th place at the Olympic Games in 2014 in Sochi, a 2nd place finish at World Championships over in Norway in 2013, and then you know, winning a World Cup on the World Cup circuit throughout that same year.
And where was that at?
That was actually in Beijing, China, where at one point I was ranked #1 in the world on that circuit. So it was to highlight 3 different types of events and competitions throughout that career.
So you traveled all over the world. The training that you would do is quite extensive. Tell me about some of the stuff that you would do in the summer for your training. I saw that video where, you know, you're not on snow.
No, exactly. So for about 15 years, I'd travel up to Quebec City where we train in the summertime. So I'll go down a very similar ramp. It's made of almost like a plastic hairbrush material, fly 50 feet up in the air and then land into the pool.
Now, the water must be kind of hard to land in.
It is. That flat surface provides a lot of impact on your body coming up from that high.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, recently you retired. You're on to your next phase of your life.
Yeah.
How many years did you compete?
Represented Team Canada for about 14 years, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, started at a young age.
All right, Team Canada. Well, recently I was on the Pan American Bass Championship in Cornwall,
Awesome.
and as captain, we won by .01 against the Americans. But I don't quite feel like an Olympian, though. Anyway,
Coming up,
there we go.
That's a better sight.
Come on out there, buddy. He's wrapped up in the pad. There we go. There we go.
That's a better sight.
Come on out there, buddy. He's wrapped up in the pads. One thing about this heavy line, you can crane them in with the rods, but a lot of times you can just pull them in. Oh, that's a nice one.
That's a nice largemouth.
Yeah, that's a good one. That one there is over 3 pounds, and that's the target species right there.
There you go.
Little chigger bug it hit, mixed in with some salad. That's a good one. That's a nice largemouth. That's worthy of a picture of you and I, Travis. You know what I mean? This is our first good fish together, right?
Yeah.
All
Nice fish,
right.
Bob.
Look at the tail. It's worn off from the spawn, but that looks like it's worn off more from last year. Okay, let's get this guy back in. That's a healthy little largemouth, you know? Whoa. Whoa, buddy. That hot water, they
Live to
have
grow friend
no
of the day.
problem getting back in. You know, you can keep them out of the water for a while because they're definitely supercharged. And you know, this bait here, black with blue flake, and it's got an ultra tungsten weight, and that's just a power bait.
Yeah, right
This little chigger bug, right in the old thick stuff. Let's keep going down. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a nice one.
Ah.
That's a nice one. Nice.
We were just talking about.
You know, we're just talking about the professional world of skiing, and you just sort of happen to catch that largemouth. The wind is up, as you can see. There's winds howling through here, probably 20 mile out of the south or more. Nice bass.
Thank you.
What happened? Did that fish hit and swim out?
It did.
Yeah,
It hit
nice.
hard and.
And so you got second at the World Championship. What year was that?
I finished second in Norway at World Champs in 2013, actually.
2013. Very nice.
Yeah.
And has a Canadian ever been higher in freestyle?
In the past, yes, I was part of a 10-year reign in the World Championships medal rankings.
Right.
So I kept that podium count up there, so that was good.
Very nice.
A lot of the other Canadian athletes were amazing as well, and
You know, this wind blowing through here right now, I feel like I'm flying through the air.
well, with this heat in the day, it feels great.
Yeah, it's still not the same as going in circles and stuff.
Not quite. If we were 50 feet up, maybe.
All right, well, that was a good bass.
Yeah.
In the windy shoreline here. Travis, when I was talking to you before we went fishing, I asked, hey, what do you like to fish for? And you said everything, but you mentioned largemouth flipping, right?
I did, yep.
We're using the Berkeley chigger bug, and it's a pretty compact flipping bait. This bait here has not been out that long, but it's got a lot of action with those claws on it. And when you flip it out, you know, puts out a lot of vibration and action. And one of the things about flipping is that you want to have a controlled flip. So when you flip a bait like that chigger bug into those mats and reeds like we're fishing, you want to make sure that it falls vertical in the water, but also a controlled fall. So even though we're using these ultra tungsten weights, these bullet weights, and punching it through, you want to sort of feather it down and make sure that it falls directly down, right?
Right.
And how about when they hit? It's just like sometimes like a tick, or all of a sudden it's just dead weight, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And heavy action equipment. I've got a 7-foot 8-inch world-class flipping rod here. You know, the Revo's spooled up with 65-pound spider wire braid. And the whole key is balanced, matched outfit for the heavy cover. And what do you think? You like flipping for largemouth?
Flipping for largemouth is so much fun, yeah.
Pretty much hand-to-hand combat, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. You're in tight with them, and it was, we had a good time.
It's not a long fight, but it is pretty intense when it happens, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I love flipping for largemouth.
Coming up.
And nice. All right, you broke the ice.
You did.
Yeah.
Let's take a look down under with this week's Fish Eye View, sponsored by Mercury. Go boldly. 20 years ago, we presented a Fish Eye View discussing the value of beads in fishing. Since that time, the use of beads in trout fishing has literally exploded. So much so, in fact, they're now the #1 bait for steelhead. Every tackle shop these days carries a mind-blowing assortment of colors and sizes. Ceramic, glass, and metal beads add to the choices. You can even purchase them in bulk at craft supply stores. Over the years, we field tested over 100 different versions, presenting them under varying conditions. We found that beads closely resembling fresh salmon eggs are best. Tied for second place are white beads and split shot sinkers. For unknown reasons, fish hit these, accounting for many of those missed strikes. Another fact is that all species of trout favor beads. Here, we're using mixed colors on brook trout, a real trick we call an eye crosser. While most anglers rig their beads separate from hooks, conservation officers will argue they must be attached directly to the hook. A better plan is to tie a line around all those beads, trim, then slip them on in this manner. It's infinitely faster to rig and more effective at hooking fish.
Okay. Fish. All right. Good one. Nice. Right in a high percentage area there, too.
Yeah, you called it, didn't you?
Well, I said get a flip right in there and nice. All right. You broke the ice.
You did.
Yeah. Turned it into like, you turned this hot water into kind of like cold water, like sort of like snow-like conditions.
See the flags there, bud?
Yeah, absolutely. Oops, sorry. There we are. So, that one ran out with it, did it?
Did.
Yeah, I kind of saw your, I saw your line going out this way from the weed mat.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, put it right over here.
This side here.
Yeah. Very nice. All right. Okay, now that we got that one going.
Now we can start fishing.
Where that fish came from along this reed bank is there's a little cut here, and he pitched it just into that little weed mat right on the front. High percentage area, and obviously that fish lived there. Today, anyway. Tomorrow his grandmother will be there.
Let's hope so.
So how many years did you compete?
I've been on Team Canada for about probably 14 years now. And with this retirement, it was a great career, but time to fish, you know.
In 27 years old, you've retired from competitive freestyle skiing.
I have indeed. It was a long, great career. I did a lot of my training out in Quebec City in the summer times.
Right.
Continued to travel in the wintertime along the World Cup circuits.
Mm-hmm.
And competing at some major international competitions have been, you know, the opportunity of a lifetime to make new friends, travel the world, doing something that you love, right?
And flying through the air.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're not talking on jets, well that too, but you're talking about literally flying.
Yeah.
And what's a typical flight distance? How far are you in the lake air? Is it like 20 feet, 40 feet? How far like are you going?
So in aerial skiing, we go down this ramp at basically 70 kilometers per hour off of a 4.1 meter tall jump, fly 50 feet up in the air, and today we're flipping for largemouth, but normally I'm just doing triple backflips.
Right.
So 50 feet up and then straight down.
Wow. And how many times?
Hopefully on your feet.
How many times have you landed and wiped out?
Yeah, with 4 knee surgeries just on my right knee, and like crashing is part of the game, and it's just learning how to kind of get back up, shake yourself off, and refocus before you have to go up and do it again.
Sometimes you crash and you don't get hurt and you just keep at it.
Absolutely.
Wow. I thought fishing was dangerous.
Well, with as many hooks I've been throwing at your head today, maybe it is.
Yeah, I've been ducking, man. He's been throwing tungsten weights by my ear, even when we're not flipping. He's just tapping me on the face with them. Trying to make sure I'm alive still.
Coming up.
That was weird. Did you see that?
Double header.
You got one too. Oh, a double header. Weed map blowing along, but you know what else? It's undercut, because you see how the reeds are bobbing up and down?
Yep.
So they're actually, the roots are uprooted, and those fish can sit right underneath the reed beds as well, or the cattails. Now, there's a couple of key spots. That corner is like, that's a perfect junction for a fish to be. Well, you've all heard the saying, practice makes perfect. I'm sure Travis Gerrits did a lot of practicing up in the air when he was competing around the world. And when you get into largemouth bass fishing, flipping and pitching around heavy cover does require a little bit of practice. You can do it in the backyard like I'm doing now. And one thing I would say is, and this is sort of the 101 of pitching and flipping, is, you know, make sure you've got a good balanced outfit and use a heavier weight. This is a 1 ounce tungsten weight here, and that's a good one to practice with. I mean, we pitch and flip with a 1/2 ounce, 5/8, 3/4, 1 ounce, even up to 1.5 ounces, depending on how thick the cover is. And what I see with a lot of folks when they begin to flip and pitch, they have too little of line off the end of their rod tip, and they don't have their reel adjusted properly. So what you want to do is you want to adjust your reel so that when you hit the free spool button, this bait falls directly down, hits the water or the ground, and the reel spool stops spinning. Personally, I loosen it off a bit because I like to long distance flip and pitch, but you do that with more practice under your belt. Now, if I've got this amount of line here, I'm trying to push it, and I can't really do it very good because I'm trying to more cast it or push the rod. So I recommend that you have about this much line out with your flipping outfit. This is a 7-foot, 8-inch, medium heavy, well actually it's a heavy Fenwick world-class flipping rod, and I've got about almost the length of the rod out, maybe a foot shorter than the length of the rod. Now, I recommend this highly if you're just starting out, is to hit your free spool button on your bait cast outfit and just pendulum the bait back and forth. And then figure out where the release point is as you pitch it forward to let your thumb off of the spool. As you pitch it forward, like this, back, forth, it's all about timing. And as it's going forward, let go, and then make sure that your thumb gets a hold of that spool just as it hits the water's surface. Now, some folks like to pitch this way. They'll hold the bait like this, and they'll pitch like this to the target. Personally, I do it that way. Sometimes I'll just do this and do one swing back and pitch it to the target. Other times, you know, if it's windy or I'm just not sure where I'm gonna pitch, I'll pendulum back and forth, and then bang, I'll let it go and right to the target, just like that. Backyard practice is everything if you want to be a perfect pitcher and flipper, and I will say, I love doing this technique. I could do it all day long. I like catching bass on a heavy cover. There's nothing like when you feel that hit or your line goes tight, you set the hook, and it's one-on-one with you and that fish.
I don't know about you, but like performing on skis, I was always at my best when I was relaxed at the same time as being like
100%. I think when you're too uptight,
that same thing, yeah.
You're too uptight fishing. In tournament fishing, if you're too uptight and all like this, you don't do well. You make mistakes mentally, mechanically, and I'm sure it's the same way when you're in competition, when you're skiing. It's like, you gotta be free and easy in your thinking, especially when you're flying through the air.
Yeah.
you don't want to be all uptight.
No,
You'd be
'cause-
probably too rigid, right?
For me, that transferred into my skis, transferred into my body movement, and for you, right into your lure performance, right?
Yesterday I was a little uptight. My son and I fished a tournament down in Cornwall in Lake St. Francis, and I lost 6 big fish.
Yeah.
But I thought I was fishing loose, but maybe I was fishing too loose. I don't know.
Well, you got it done, right?
Yeah, we did all right, but still I lost way too many big fish.
You know, we live to compete, and
Yeah, that's for sure.
learn, right?
That wind is stiff, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Oh, that was weird. Did you see that?
Double header.
You got one too. Oh, a double header. All right. Nice. What the heck?
What happened there?
They were off the bank. Look at that. Get that one in. That's a good one. Yeah, nice. Figure that out now. That was wild. Now, that was so wild that this fish was just off the bank in about 2 feet of water. And look at that. Double
Matching
header.
pair.
I think that's worthy of a photo. What do you think? A double header here. And we're flipping this, you know, this reeds, and it's got some mat blown in. And crazy thing is, usually flipping you don't get a lot of double headers, right?
No.
No, not flipping, but hey, it is what it is. That's pretty
I'll
cool.
take it.
Okay, well,
Very cool.
that was interesting. My line was going sideways, and it was after I reeled it in a bit off the shore. All of a sudden, and yours too hit off the shore, right?
Yeah, I was reeling it in after you connected, and whammy.
Need some pliers?
Yeah, I do need some pliers.
Look at that. Oh yeah, you had him hooked right up. Here, let me give that a twist.
Through the eye.
Yeah, that'll come out right there. Don't want it, it's just near the eye. You ready?
Yep.
There we go.
Nice.
All right. Oh, that was fun. Let's put them all over here.
Yeah.
We'll release them both. Same time. Look at that. Very nice. See you later, boys. Nice. I showered already at the hotel.
Could have used it.
We just came from a bass tournament. I showered. Good job.
Nice work, Bob.
Very nice. Nice and wet, too. I got to clean my glasses. Very cool. A little point and a couple of bass.
Real Fishing was sponsored by Mercury, Go Boldly, Berkeley, Catch More Fish, and Abu Garcia for life.
Well, that thing's got some weight to it. The size of that puppy right there. That is just wild.
Man.
Beautiful, beautiful. Look at the size of that thing.